go. There we go. We're live.
Hurrah! We are at the end, well, nearly at the. We are on the final episode of Taskmaster USA. We can destroy all footage of this show, but first we have an announcement to make, and I'm sorry that
I'm sorry this happened during Taskmaster USA, the show that deserves this announcement the least.
Although, to be fair, though, because our viewership on YouTube is going up because of these shorter episodes, more people will be likely to know about it from YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, YTSN ATP's very own co-host, Joe Zadar, is going to become an uncle! Woo!
Yes!
Congratulations, Joe.
Thank you. Yes, my brother David and his wife Jill are going to have a child. We don't know the gender yet, but the
very early. It must be very early in the pregnancy. To know for sure.
14 weeks. 14 weeks. They've been trying for quite a while. The birth is scheduled, because you can schedule them now, for the 29th of December, 2022.
Ooh, okay. That's a lot nearer than I thought it was going to be.
They have. That's what she said. So I'm very thrilled about this.
Yeah,
it's great.
And you're going to start being called a name that someone could come up with in a bad matter of seconds, Uncle Joe.
Yes, Crazy Uncle Joey or Crazy Uncle Joe.
Crazy Uncle Joe or Cudge.
I come from a very long line of Crazy Uncle Joes because my mother had a Crazy Uncle Joey when she was younger.
Maybe you could try and convince like your niece or your nephew, whichever it ends up being, to call you Cudgy, which is like
I am not as far into the acronyms as you are.
One of our running gags on this show is the OTFAs, on the fly acronyms.
Yes, Uncle Joe is just fine. Uncle for this child to pronounce. I am
Unky Joe. What about Unky Jojo? I mean, that might be something they get out.
Listen, we're gonna have to wait till this child is born and is old enough to speak. We'll still be doing this show then. So if somebody remembers this, please email me in a couple of years and ask me. Well, this is fine. But yes, I did want to announce this. I was told this yesterday.
What kind of uncle are you going to be?
Crazy.
Are you going to be like a Weird Al Yankovic kind of uncle?
Yes. Yeah. You have seen pictures of me, Emerson. What other kind of uncle is there that I could be?
Oh, God. I was thinking I'm not like an avid Weird Al Yankovic fan, but I respect him as a person. There's a funny clip of him on YouTube. It's not a new clip. It's probably existed for about 5 or 6 years. But he does this thing where he presents the audience with what's called
the mysterious floating orb?
Yes, that's
that is
the one.
A 12-year-old video, Emerson.
Well, I didn't see it on... The video on YouTube dated back to 2016.
I thought it was much older than that. It might have been from that time. I thought
Either way, that is the most like uncle-y thing a person can do, I think.
Yes. Oh, believe me, then I will be set. Anyways, let's go into matters that aren't nearly as happy. Taskmaster USA. Boy, does this show terrible.
And the title for this episode, as we alluded to in the previous one, is 101 Ducks.
Boy, I wonder what that
Dalmatians, which would have been a much, much more delightful. But I mean, if they were real ducks, I probably would have been happy. But yeah. I have a bit of a weird relationship with this episode specifically. Can I tell you the story real quick?
Please do.
So, I don't have access to... I mean, they do have Comedy Central in the UK, but this show was never shown in the UK. Thank fuck for that.
For good reason.
So I watched it on a online site where someone had like screen recorded it or something and posted it there for basically so you could watch the show for free. That was a voice crack. About 2 or 3 minutes into the episode, there's an audio glitch, and like one of the lines repeats itself, and then it just goes on as normal. So the footage is no longer synced with the audio.
Oh no!
And basically, it made that episode of the show almost unwatchable. And so then I was desperately like, you'll never hear me say this sentence ever again, and I do not mean it in a good way. I was desperately looking for ways to watch Taskmaster USA. Because, like, this one little thing was... I'd actually was written in my notes that there had been a very obvious audio error, but then I realized it wasn't the show's fault. It was something to do with the way this person had, like, rendered or uploaded the episode or something. And so that is when I admitted I wish I'd known about this much sooner so that my journey to discover it wouldn't have been so difficult. But I discovered that someone had uploaded all 8 of these episodes to a Google Drive.
Yes, the mysterious Google Drive alluded to in certain subreddits that I don't want to name.
But anyway, I found that. I wish I found it sooner because it would have made watching this a slightly more bearable viewing experience. But that is my history with this episode. And my one note is that this isn't much, but I think this is the best prize of the show. Prize.
Yeah,
I don't know why
it's the closest to what we actually get in regular Taskmaster.
And I wouldn't mind. I mean, any like casual Taskmaster fan would be happy to win this, I'd say.
Yeah, because it's props from the show.
Anyway, our contestants, final contestant descriptions.
Do we want to say what the props are? Did you write them down?
No, I didn't. But I want to talk about the... well, I say I want to talk about it. I just want to list them off. Dylan likes extra something.
I wrote from the
extra,
thing under there.
Yeah.
Electro
I wrote
House.
Dylan likes extra house, but I don't think that's right.
Electro House.
Electro House.
It's a genre of music. It's a genre of music that's played in clubs.
It's not that I didn't know what it is. I wrote down Dylan likes extra house.
Yes.
Freddie likes soccer, obviously. Kate likes Reggie, which from the way she was looking at Reggie as that thing appeared on the screen, I'd probably get a restraining order if I was Reggie Watts. Lisa likes verbal wrestling, and Ron likes actual wrestling. Banter, I wrote don't care. Because
I didn't either.
And
the prize,
as we've mentioned, is memorabilia from the show. This is the only decent prize.
Which I did the prize last time, so you do it this time.
I thought, oh yeah, I did. I didn't list down the things though, but it was all just like props from the show.
Yeah, I will
was
read
like
it
a
off
microwave or something.
Let me read it off of taskmaster.info because I certainly didn't write it down either. A basketball, a picture of a horse, a large pizza, a bowl of old ice, which is just water, a microwave, a leaf blower, and a pair of handcuffs, and a giant rubber duck. The leaf blower.
How many is that? 8 items.
That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes.
Is that one item from each episode of the show? List them again.
No, it's not. Because
well, we had the basketball, which was the first episode. The picture of the horse that was from
Ebony.
Episode.
That's Ebony the horse.
Yeah.
Then we have the microwave.
That's appeared in several tasks. That'd be cool if it was like one task associated with each episode.
It does not seem like it because the ducks and the leaf blower are both from the same task.
Well, the leaf blower could have been from the task. I was going to say the leaf blower could have been from Ron's attempt of a task in the previous episode, but then I remember the handcuffs are very specifically that episode as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we have that. It's basically like this is the most decent prize to win. So do you want to do the first task then?
Yes. This task is a perennial favorite. Fell all the ducks.
But we have no time to fell ducks, do we, John?
No, we don't. Except to tell how you fell all the ducks, as is in all the other versions.
I'll say this. If we hadn't called this episode Crazy Uncle Joe, I think a contention for the title would have been No Time to Fell Ducks 2.
Yes.
Remember, and the sequel is never as good as the original.
And the original wasn't very good to begin with.
Well,
Oh
The
no,
original was good.
that's shitting on No Time to Die, not the duck task that we're
Yeah.
making the joke of. But anyways, this task previously featured is also featured on other Taskmaster shows, such as
Uh,
Taskmaster Original Series 4 Episode 1, Bost E Test Season 2 Episode 1, Dicho E Hecho Season 1 Episode 1, Stormester Season 1 Episode 7, Kongan Befaler Season 1 Episode 3, and the most recent Taskmaster today, Taskmaster Portugal Season 1 Episode 1, which aired March 19th of 2022, just 3 months ago. And this
anyway,
and if you've seen the other task, this it works the same way. If you haven't, brief explainer, there's a bunch of walls and other stuff with rubber ducks laid on them, 101 to be precise. You have
do
to
you know
not
how many ducks were lined up on the British version?
I believe it. We went through this. We had math that we had to do. I think it was like 140 something. But in this instance, it was 101 ducks. They're on walls. You have to. The task
More than likely a play
fell,
on 101 Dalmatians.
Yes, absolutely. The task goes fell all the rubber ducks. Your time starts when the first rubber duck falls. When felling the ducks, you may not step beyond the rope. There is, of course, a velvet rope some distance away that the contestants are totally allowed to move. And most of them didn't. But we start with when everyone walks up. Kate and Lisa both give Alex shit for using the word "fell," which you can go fuck yourselves.
Lisa complains about the British English, and she does.
Yes.
Would you say that's British English or just like correct English? And I mean,
it's
would you say
definitely an
that's
uncommon and old timey word.
would you say that's correct English or American English?
I would say that it's old timey and not.
Did you not get the jab?
I did. I ignored it. But
Lisa, you won't ignore this. Lisa does a dreadful British accent in mocking of the use of the word "fell," but I wrote in my notes still probably better than Joe could do.
That's why I don't. Anyways, so they both throw things. Kate and Lisa are shown together. They throw things. Kate uses an exercise ball, and then Lisa used Lisa was very just straight on it. She used the giant rubber duck that was sitting next to the task and just hurled it at the walls enough time to get everything to fall over. She does realize that she can move the ropes, but only like halfway through, and then she only moved them like a few feet. It took Lisa 8 minutes and 55 seconds, and then dun dun dun. In the studio segment, it's revealed that Kate left one duck that was sitting on a piece of terracotta shingling over on one side upright, and she was in fact disqualified. Then we get Freddy. Freddy is shown by himself. He pulls a Hugh Dennis almost. He actually wraps a hose around the base of the bigger of the two walls and then yanks on it to actually get the big wall to fall over. And he'd also gotten the big plastic decorative balls from the pool and threw those once he'd knocked over the big wall, because he was going to use the hose to spray the ducks down. But like Lawi Adefope in The World's Worst Fireman, he didn't get quite far enough with his reach with the water, and so he had to resort to violence. He did not, although he did it fairly
When in doubt,
quickly.
resort to violence.
Yeah, he planned for half an hour.
Don't take that literally. Don't take that literally.
Which good for Freddy. He planned for half an hour and took 38 seconds. So measure twice, cut once, and whatnot. Onwards to Dylan and Ron. They do move the ropes. Ron moves right next to the wall so that he can just stand well behind it and plink at the smaller wall and all the other ducks. Dylan uses the leaf blower. Ron uses a window washing stick and does it in 13 seconds. Dylan took a lot longer because the leaf blower did not look very powerful. Dylan missed one. Dylan missed a duck that was sitting, because one of the walls was like a pegboard style wall, and there were pegs on it, and one of the ducks was sitting on a peg, and Dylan just missed it. And this is so with 2 DQs. This is Ron's first win all season. And he's very pleased about that. And they have a close up of his face as he realizes this. And you can see that his shirt has a pattern on it. And the pattern is just it's just tiny poop emojis all over his shirt.
Oh God.
That's like it's just a shirt made of tiny little poop emojis, and it's not what I would wear, but it also is kind of funny.
I mean,
Anyways,
if the Hawaiian shirt count jingle existed, I probably would have made up an entirely new one just for this episode called the Tiny Poop Emojis Count.
yep. And then onwards to the next task,
Second
I
task,
would
which
like
is
to point out, I think might be the only unique task in the entirety of Taskmaster USA.
well, I can tell you that that's not quite true.
What's different?
This is the object's changed, but this is it's changed from potato. It's changed to a potato, but this is the do something surprising with a rubber duck task from Series 4, Episode 8. But it's since been changed to a potato.
I don't remember that task at all.
It's the one where, do you remember when Mel had the delivery guy show up and the duck was in the back of his delivery bag?
Oh yeah, holy shit! I forgot that was.
Oh, it's also the one where Noel Fielding married the duck and Tim Key was the
Oh
vicar.
my god, I totally forgot that. Yeah,
But
that
yeah, it's we'll give it 50 point. Well, 50%. It's half original.
It's so original that Taskmaster.info didn't include it as part of the like master task, which I might have to email them and let them know. Yeah, do
Anyway,
something. Yeah. Holy
let's
shit.
talk about what our not so fantastic 5 did for their final pre-recorded task.
Yeah.
So Lisa makes a dingbat of the word potato. Do you know what I was going to ask? Do you know what a dingbat is in this context?
It does not. There is a different meaning on this side of the Atlantic. A dingbat's like an idiot, an old-timey word for an idiot.
Well, it does mean it is an old-timey word for an idiot in general, but it's also the name of like a game that could be played in that is played in the UK. Basically, the game is you have to it's basically like a game of it's like a game of charades in a way, but you using pictures and you have to sort of say, you draw little pictures and you have to say them out loud to sort of say the whatever it is you're trying to guess. So, for example, you had to guess Winnie the Pooh. Okay.
Yeah.
I would draw like a first place medal, win. I'd draw someone's knee.
And then
I would draw a shirt with tiny little poop emojis on it. No, I'd just draw like a pile of shit in general. And from identifying those pictures, you could guess it is Winnie the Pooh. That's sort of what it is.
Tell you what, I would have guessed medal the poop or medal.
Well, you have to think. Well, you have to think about it a bit more. Sometimes you have to think about it a bit more.
Yeah.
Literally than that. But anyway, that's what a dingbat means in that instance, and she makes a dingbat of the word potato. She so it's a letter. There's a letter. So the toe bit of a potato is just a toe. It's just the letter
she
A.
carved it to look like a toe.
Oh yeah, she carved it to
like
look
a human toe.
She made the letter A out of it, and she could have just made like a tiny little pot with like maybe a.
She made a decent looking joint.
A zoot.
Which
do you remember there was a Muppet called Zoot?
No.
He was the one
Genuinely
in the. Do you remember the Dr. Teeth's band? The one with Animal in it? I think Zoot was the blue one, the saxophone player, who was like.
I did not know that.
Well, I was thinking because I wouldn't say I'm a diehard Muppet fan, but I definitely do like them. Zoot was the one who was like, I thought it was just called Zoot because it sounded like a musical thing, but watching it as an adult, he's very obviously high off his ass.
Oh yeah,
that might be why they're 70s stereotypes, so they're probably high off their ass anyway. But he's probably called Zoot because he's high off his ass.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's but yeah, she makes a joint to represent the word pot instead of just like a little pot, like a flower pot.
Yeah,
And this is the second drug reference to drugs in the show.
which it's legal in California. It's legal in quite a few states nowadays, so that's not really a thing you need to ban.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's. I mean, if Taskmaster was Canadian, there'd be weed references left, right, and center.
Yeah, it's illegal. It's legal to use. Anyways, what else?
Freddy tries to deliver the potato via zip line because the potato was delivered on a zip wire. He tries to deliver it on a plate, but it falls off the plate and yes.
No, it falls off the rope because he punched a hole through it was really stupid. Dylan was at the same time as him.
Yeah, they showed. Dylan wants to put his potato in the microwave and have it explode. It doesn't explode, and I don't think it would have exploded. But especially not if you just put it on the potato setting.
I want to point this out that I always poke holes in my potatoes sometimes because sometimes there is a worry that they'll explode from the pent up pressure.
I have a very weird relationship with potatoes. Obviously I like crisps, I like chips, I like those sort of things. But if potatoes really lumpy, I just if I have really lumpy mashed potato, and you can feel solid bits of potato of the original potato in it, then it's just no, not for me.
Okay, but no, I will say that it probably is possible to explode a potato in the microwave, but you need a much more powerful microwave than the shitty one they had on there.
Or you could do what Ron Funches did. And this is where Ron, being the silent psychopath that I mentioned before, is on full display here. Because he basically turns like Reggie. He basically makes the potato look like Reggie, like a Mr. Potato Head kind of thing. And then he puts the potato in the microwave. He's put plastic googly eyes on the potato. And when plastic goes in the microwave, plastic like that, it catches fire and probably explodes.
Yeah, and it did. And Ron was laughing maniacally the whole time, which was the best part.
Ron, I think this show did something to Ron Funches. He started out pretty I didn't like him in the beginning. I still don't really like him now, but he's descended into madness as the show's gone on.
Yeah, it's really is something in this.
Kate's isn't even shown in video form. She just delivers the potato
I feel like is a lost thing here because she did that, but it's also really kind of funny.
To Reggie's door. And I feel like this was the most anticlimactic way to end this task.
It absolutely was, and especially because
we didn't even. At least what she could have done was sorry, I've got.
This
if she knocked on Reggie's door and then all the camera crew ran and hid, but one of them was hiding in secret, and Reggie opens to the door and what I'm thinking is do you remember when Richard Osman and John Richardson filmed the 28 Days Tater?
Yeah, or
and Alex knocked on the door and the potato's there,
or from Alex what Reggie said, afterwards, he's I clearly need more security. They could have made it been the bit when Rod Gilbert slept in Greg's closet overnight. They could have made it funny, but they didn't because this show is garbage.
You're jumping ahead a bit. You're not allowed to jump ahead because you've not seen...
That's one of the most well-known clips of the show.
I mean, yeah, that's true, but still, though, I would love to have just... I mean, there's not really much to... Lisa, for some reason, gets 5. Ron gets 4. I would have given Ron first place, to be honest. Kate gets 3, and Dylan and Freddie both get 1 each. Which means with one task to go, Ron's in first place and could have his first ever dub here. Then it's Lisa, and I don't care. And then we
then we have something that Joe would like to talk about, which is that they briefly mention, right at the end of this task, the scores for the season. And it is very clearly dubbed in afterwards in a recording booth. And it is very clearly not the same shot. It is just a bland voiceover, which means that these episodes were filmed out of order, and it doesn't matter which order they were shown in because they can just fix it however they want. Because they definitely did not
Well, I
make
mean,
it
this
sound
episode
like
was filmed as a finale, but
well, no, you say, but they clearly did not include. They
that's
clearly did
in the
not,
final episode.
and they had to edit that in afterwards. So who knows? Because they could have just as easily edited out the prize task.
Joe,
and put
let me tell you this. Who knows? Who cares?
That's true. Well, Spelvin probably cares, but other than that,
Anyway, one final live task, and it is over to you, Crazy Uncle Joe.
This is the balloon task. Inflate the largest balloon while blindfolded. You can't You're only given one balloon, so you can't burst it.
And all the people's balloons have their faces on them.
Yes, this task has appeared in 9 different versions of Taskmaster. Most of
this will be the next lowest unique number of donuts on the task. It's just
most of which are not Bosky test. So Series 1, Episode 5 of the original Taskmaster.
Yep,
Season
that's
1,
the OG.
Episode 6 of Het Grootste Licht, which is the Dutch version. Then Season 1, Episode 5 of Dicho y Hecho, which was the Spanish version. Then the US version. Then Stormester, Season 1, Episode 1. Then Kongen Befaller, Season 1, Episode 3. Then Director Sevmir, which is the Croatian version of Taskmaster, Season 1,
I've been to
Episode...
Croatia.
Season 1, Episode 4 aired last December. And then Season 6, Episode 2, Kongen Befaller. Not Kongen Befaller, Season 6, Episode 2 of Basti Test, everyone's favorite does everything show. They clearly did not have a unique number of things. But and which actually, hold on. I'm gonna click on this.
I don't think we'll cover it for this version, but I would love to watch Basti Test. So much.
Oh, hold on. No, this is really funny. So I clicked on this expecting it to say something like they had to do the lowest number of things. This is actually like a weird task that's in the middle of the episode. Like it's not like it's a live task that's in the middle of the episode.
I mean, I think the UK version did something like that at some point.
I don't know, but it's very interesting they did that. Anyways, finally, last one, Taskmaster Portugal did this just 2 months ago in Season 1, Episode 5. This task is very simple. They just have to blow up the balloon. In this instance, everyone's faces are printed on the balloon. It was a little harder to tell in the last version because they were all in the Taskmaster UK version because they were all the same color. This one, they're all different colors for each contestant. Notable things that happened, which is that Ron blew his balloon up fairly large, then tried to tie it off blindfolded. The balloon sputtered and blew away.
I actually felt for him there.
And it landed on the ground, and Reggie gets up to get it, which is really weird because the Taskmaster is never supposed to stand up like that. But then Reggie stole it. Reggie did not give it back to Ron or throw it back onto the stage.
That's something Greg Davis would do.
No, Greg Davis wouldn't get up. Greg Davies would not get up. Greg would look at it and laugh and not do anything. And then Dylan popped his. So leave it with another 2 disquals.
I guess Ron Funches blew his lead, just like Josh Whittaker did in the episode where this happened.
He did, actually. And then, which leads Lisa on to win. Freddie wins the task, which leads us on to the scoring round, which is that after an ad, of course, because we have to have an ad.
3 ad breaks in a 20-minute show.
Yeah.
Welcome to America.
Which leads that Lisa wins the episode. And then we have a mediocre drum roll, please. Kate Berlant wins the series.
Yay! No one gives a shit.
No one gives a shit. I
And the
don't
show was
care.
never seen again.
The show was
Kate
never seen
Berlin,
again.
Berlin, however you pronounce her name, remains to this
Yep,
day the only winner of Taskmaster USA, the hollowest of all trophies.
for good reason. I guarantee you, she threw that trophy away at some point.
Or she could do what one of our future winners does. I won't say who, but just kept them in their garage, among
Yep.
with all the other junk.
But that is it for this season. That is it for our coverage of the worst Taskmaster show.
Next week, we will be having our very special one-off episode where Joe and myself will be ranking the 25 contestants from the first 5 UK seasons, purely subjectively, or objectively, in my case. And then after that, not sure if how long we might take a little break, but then
Couple
we'll
of
be on
weeks.
to Series 6, and Taskmaster UK starts to get, why am I so out of breath? Starts to develop into the more widely known format we know and love today.
Yep.
And remember,
Good night.